Morning, everybody. Welcome in. And thanks for tuning in for our word for Wednesday. An encouraging thought to get us through the middle of the week. I'm going to start an encouraging thought with a not encouraging kind of thought. And that is that, when you watch the news today, you click through Facebook, you follow the Insta friends, and you look at Twitter. It's easy to be overwhelmed with the bad news all around us. It's insurmountable. I mean, everywhere you look, there's just trouble. There's problems. It's a hard time. There's uncertainty. There's political unrest. There's just all kinds of vitriol and racial, disunity. And there's trouble in the church and trouble outside of the church. And the pandemic has gotten everybody a little bit crazy. And it's really easy to look at the situation and just say, you know what? There's just nothing I can do. I can't solve this. I can't fix this. And it leaves you with this overwhelming feeling of hopelessness. And that's really the way that a lot of us feel when we see the news and the situation around us. Pause that a second. I want to take you back to a scene in my backyard a couple of nights ago. Not too long ago, we had some wind that came through. You guys realized it and you noticed it. Took down some trees and took a tree down in our yard, in fact. And one of the casualties of that wind was the canvas top to our gazebo. Our gazebo has lights strung around it and a chandelier that hangs from it, and up until the last really big storm, had a canvas top, but it got torn, and so we took that canvas top down. It hasn't been replaced yet, and so it's just an open to the air. The other night we had a fire out in the fire pit, and the boys had been to bed, and Sue and I were sitting out there enjoying a cool evening and just visiting, and I leaned back in my chair and I looked up through the top of that gazebo. And between where the house blocked out my view and the surrounding trees, there was this wonderful space that looked straight up into the pitch black darkness of a very, very clear sky. And in that pitch black darkness, you could see some beautiful stars that illuminated the sky. And just, it was like the sky had been covered in black paper and that there were pinpricks keeping you from a light source on the other side. It was a really beautiful, beautiful kind of moment for a second. And I got to thinking, in some ways, I think that's exactly the illustration that Paul is using in Philippians, the 2nd chapter. Paul in Philippians chapter 2 says that we should shine like stars in the world. You see, when I looked up through that gazebo top there, those stars did not illuminate the entire sky. Those stars were not like our sun that brought daylight and vanquished all the darkness in the sky. It didn't do that. It didn't eradicate the darkness. It didn't get rid of all the darkness. And no little star on its own, and I say little jokingly because we know they're enormously large, but no little starlight had upon itself the notion that it needed to illuminate all the darkness that was around me. It was doing its job. And the star, while it was a very small light, it was a very beautiful light. And the stars in that sky, just like the stars that have always illuminated the sky, have been sources of many things historically. But two things specifically that the stars on a night like that can do. One, they can cause us to marvel. They cause us to just wonder. And as I sat back in that chair and I looked at the star and I thought how beautiful it is, how wonderful a contrast to the darkness to see that little pinprick of light. And it made me marvel at its beauty and its significance and the creative power that went into it. It caused me to wonder. But the second thing the stars on a dark night do, is if you are so talented and inclined and have the proper training and tools, is that it serves as a wonderful source of navigation. Now, I myself have never really learned to navigate by the stars. I don't own a sextant or have any notion that I could get from here to there by use of the stars. But historically, that's been one of the things that stars do. They allow a sailor, a traveler, to know where they are in the world and where they're going. It's a way to navigate. And putting those two things together, it kind of gave me the thought that the time in which we live is a dark, dark night. And we would get ourselves in all kinds of a tantrum if we decided that it was our goal to eradicate all the darkness of this world right now. We can't do it. We can't do it. But see, Paul doesn't say to us, shine like the sun. He doesn't say eradicate all the darkness and fix every problem in the world. What he says is you shine like stars. What do stars do? They produce wonder. And they produce a possibility of navigation. And I think that's what Paul's calling us to do. I think Paul's saying, you look around this dark world and you feel overwhelmed by it. Don't. Because when you shine like stars, you are providing a sense of marvel to the world around you. And you're providing a way in which others can navigate and find the true north, the direction they need to travel. I think that's what Jesus meant when he said, let your light so shine before men that they will see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven. What is he saying? Eradicate all the darkness, fix all the problems? No. He's saying it's a dark world, but you shine your light. And when you shine your light, what you're going to do is you're going to be a marvel, and people are going to say, what's different about them? Oh, that's God living in them. And not only that, it's going to point them to God, a way to navigate. Let's do that this week. Let's focus on being those kinds of stars in the sky. And I'm going to get out of this barn because somebody's coming, and I'm not supposed to be here. Have a wonderful day. Happy Wednesday to you.